Good afternoon, Missouri. I'm Jordan Berger, and welcome to KOMU 8 News at noon. Breaking news this afternoon. A student was shot and injured at a high school in Ocala, Florida this morning. Officials say the student was shot in the ankle and taken to a local hospital. The Marion County Sheriff's Office says the suspected shooter was another student and is in custody. It's still unclear if the shooting was intentional. Following the incident, students were dismissed for the day. This comes on the 19th anniversary of a mass shooting at Columbine High School in Littleton, Colorado. What was at the time the worst school shooting in history is now something that happens often in the United States. Two Columbine seniors, 17-year-old Dylan Kleboyd and 18-year-old Eric Harris, went on a shooting spree inside the school, killing 12 of their classmates and a teacher. 20 others were wounded. Several recent tragic events inspired one organization to rally for safer school environments. The National Education Association is encouraging schools around the country to rally for safer schools. The Columbia chapter decided to wear orange and white shirts with signs reading #NeverAgain. One student got up early this morning to show support, saying enough is enough.
I mean, just think it could come to your school. This is an important issue. It affects all of us every day. It's your job or your responsibility as an American citizen to come out and support safety for students.
Several students plan on rallying again at Providence and Broadway and Providence and Nifong from 3:45 to 4:15 p.m. this afternoon. Wells Fargo's financial relationship with gun makers and the National Rifle Association has cost them business with a major U.S. union. The American Federation of Teachers notified the bank that it's dropping Wells Fargo as a recommended mortgage lender for members. This comes after Wells Fargo rejected the union's call to cut lending ties with or impose new restrictions on firearm business partners. In others, Wells Fargo news, the company has agreed to pay a hefty fine for violating U.S. banking regulations. The bank will pay $1 billion to settle charges tied to its mortgage and auto lending business. The bank has admitted to selling auto insurance to customers who did not want or need auto insurance. It also admitted to charging thousands of customers unnecessary fees in order to lock their interest rates on their home mortgages. Wells Fargo is the nation's largest mortgage lender. Overnight, the Justice Department released memos fired FBI Director James Comey wrote after meetings with President Trump. NBC's Tracy Potts has details on what they said.
New overnight from the Comey memos, President Trump claiming former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn had serious judgment issues, and former Chief of Staff Reince Priebus asking if Flynn was under surveillance.
And you did give him an answer?
Correct.
Was it improper for you to tell him directly in that moment?
I didn't think so. I hesitated.
Comey says he began the memos after a Trump Tower meeting to brief the president-elect on Russian claims involving prostitutes.
He might not tell the truth about those if it ever became an issue, and so I needed a written record.
Comey says the issue came up again in the Oval Office.
He told you that he'd had a personal conversation with President Putin about hookers?
Yes.
President Trump tweets that the memos show clearly there was no collusion and no obstruction, and that Comey leaked classified information. In a statement, 3 Republican committee chairs point out Comey never says he felt obstructed or threatened. The top Democrat on oversight says they prove President Trump interfered in a blatant effort to deny justice. Tracy.
And you saw the redactions as some portions of those memos are blacked out. Members of Congress will get unredacted memos at a secure location later today. The Democratic National Committee announced today as well they are suing Trump's campaign, Trump's son, his son-in-law, the Russian Federation, and WikiLeaks, saying they conspired to help Trump win the 2016 presidential election. Arizona teachers voted to walk off the job. It's the state's first teacher strike in 40 years. The president of the Arizona Education Association says nearly 80% of teachers and educators voted in favor of a walkout. Organizers said they will place no limitations on the length of the walkout. Last week, Governor Doug Ducey announced a teacher pay hike of 20% over 2 years. But after initial optimism, major grassroots groups pulled their support, calling the plan unsustainable and unclear.
And not only that, we have crumbling public school infrastructure here right now. We have kids sitting in broken desks, studying out of 25-year-old textbooks in a room with a leaky ceiling, and that's unacceptable.
80% of Arizona's more than 1 million students will be affected by that walkout. Following a national manhunt, a Minnesota grandmother accused of shooting and killing 2 people, including her husband, is behind bars. 56-year-old Lois Rice, you see her here. She was arrested last night in South Padre Island, Texas. The arrest was based on a tip to U.S. Marshals. Police say Rice killed her husband back in March, then traveled to Florida to kill a woman who looked like her, all to the identity of that woman. 700 pounds of dynamite was stolen in Pennsylvania, and now the contracting company has had its blasting permit suspended. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives is offering a $20,000 reward. On Wednesday, the Bureau revealed that more explosives were stolen previously than the estimated 640 pounds. Friday, the explosives were stored in a locked truck trailer at the worksite, and on Monday, a worksite security discovered the trailer door was open and the locks were missing. The company could face fines or even criminal charges, according to the Bureau. Today, agents are looking for the missing dynamite, working with the Department of Homeland Security in case this involves terrorism, and also checking the explosives black market. An unexploded World War II bomb has been defused and removed from a central area of Berlin today. Police shut down the main train station as a precaution. The bomb was found during recent construction work. Some 10,000 residents and workers were forced to leave almost a square-mile area where bomb experts defused the 1,100-pound British bomb dropped during the war. They destroyed it in a small controlled explosion. German rail operator Deutsche Bahn said trains were prevented from stopping at the busy station for over an hour. And visitors will be able to say a final farewell to former First Lady Barbara Bush today. The wife of President George H.W. Bush and mother of President George W. Bush is lying inside St. Martin's Episcopal Church in Houston. Large crowds are expected to say farewell to the lady, her family called the Enforcer. A private funeral is scheduled for tomorrow. Let's go ahead and get a check of our weather with our very own Tim Schmidt. And thankfully, It's starting to feel more like April.
Absolutely, it is. It already really has been when you factor in where the tree pollen numbers have been, but temperature-wise, haven't really been there up until maybe yesterday and today. Still a little below normal for this time of the year, though. An average high should be around 65 to 66 this time of April. Yeah, we're not going to get there yet, but we may be there next week. Right now, we're at 58 in Columbia, 57 up in Kirksville, Missouri. It's 57 out in Kansas City. Hey, it's even near 57 at Springfield and the Lake of the Ozarks. Cool, quiet times here for us in the Midwest. We get to enjoy more sunshine for a lot of the mid part of the country, and that's all thanks to high pressure that's slowly moving off to the east, keeping things very quiet here in the state and very non-windy. Finally, we have a couple of days that we get to enjoy without the wind. Hey, weekend rain, that could be a possibility. It will affect our pollen numbers, too. The allergy report here for Friday brought to you by pollen.com. High numbers for today and tomorrow. Sunday looks like medium levels before we jump right back into that high stretch of high pollen numbers, thanks to a chance for rain on Sunday. Your afternoon forecast looks like this. 58 at the 1 o'clock hour, 63 at 4. We're down into the low 60s, upper 50s by the 7 o'clock hour. Coming up, I'll be talking about that weekend rain opportunity and next week's warm-up. We'll be talking about that coming up here in just a couple of minutes.
All right, Tim, thank you so much. A mid-Missouri community is in mourning after 4 kids from the same family died in a house fire yesterday. Fire crews showed up around 1 a.m. but couldn't get anybody out. 4 young boys, ages 14, 8, 5, and 4, were alone in their Lake Ozark home when the fire erupted. Their parents got back just in time to see the house fully engulfed in flames. Heat from the fire was so strong, firefighters could not get in right away, and strong winds could have played a role in how quickly it intensified.
Sad. Even though I didn't know them very well, hardly at all, just knowing that they lost 2 kids.
The kids attended the School of the Osage, which released a short statement on Facebook saying additional counseling support will be available for students today. A scary moment at the state capitol after Senator Maria Chappelle-Nadal received a mysterious envelope. She tweeted that it was a cancer-causing pesticide and thanked first responders and Senate members. She also tweeted, "Let me be clear, the coward that sent the envelope made a grave mistake. There's no way in hell I'll be intimidated by a fool."
Unfortunately, those of us who are in public office, in the public eye, receive threats threats like this oftentimes because of our advocacy for issues that are really important.
A Cole County hazmat team came in to help. Chappelle Nadal moved to another office to continue her work. Boone County residents are busy filling up their passports, but not with stamps, instead with cycle of socialization events. The passports are part of a journey toward inclusive excellence, a program dedicated to increasing how accepting the community is of each other's differences. Children, professionals, retirees, and even dancers celebrated their progress at a mixer. Throughout their journey, participants get exposed to their own biases and how to interrupt them when they come up.
If you have a brain, you have a bias, period. So that does not exclude anyone. We all have this work to do.
It's not too late to start your own journey. People can request a passport at any time and join the group at their next celebration in August. Taking a live look over the Missouri River near Rocheport. It's 12:10. We'll be right back after this.